Welcome to Seattle College's international programs and our show Conversations With, where we talk to people that help you understand how you too can be an international student in the United States and why Seattle Colleges should be your first choice. We'll talk to students and staff and agents and government folks, all kinds of people about what you can expect when you're getting ready to apply or travel here, what you'll experience while you're with us, and how it can all lead to an amazing life. Don't forget to check out the Seattle College's International Programs website at intl.seattlecolleges.edu, where you can find a treasure trove of information about the school, the programs here, and best of all, fill out and submit your application. Again, that's intl.seattlecolleges.edu. Hey everybody, welcome back to Seattle College's Conversations With. Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween.
Do you guys have Halloween in England?
Huh?
Do you guys celebrate Halloween?
Yes, we celebrate Halloween. Actually, very similarly to the US.
Oh, so you go out for candy.
Yes, trick-or-treating. Yeah.
I'm not going to wear this for the whole interview, but I did want to use it to say hello. So, yeah, welcome. So, why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, what you're studying?
Well, my name's Archie, or Archie, my accent, from England, Oxford, and I'm studying political science here at Seattle Central College.
Right.
After deciding to do political science, after many different decisions like geology to psychology to political science now.
So you keep switching over.
Keep switching, but I like political science, and it's more my thing, actually.
Sure. Well, you know, hearing that you're from Oxford, it occurs to me that you guys have a small, fairly unknown university there.
Yeah.
Why did you elect to come to the United States to study? Why didn't you just stay home?
I was at college in the UK, and I said to my mum, how do I study in America? Just as a random conversation that you'd have, with your parents. And then a week later, she met someone at a party who said, oh, my parents have students to stay in Seattle. And it was like this weird serendipitous moment where it's like, it came together perfectly.
Really?
And then one thing led to another. We got my visa. It all just worked out perfectly, and now I'm here.
Wow.
And I've been here for a year, and it's like, my life's changed so much. But yeah, it's crazy.
Right. Well, we met right after you arrived. I mean, like literally right after you arrived. And it has been a year. It's crazy how fast time goes. And how's it going?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Are you?
I've met so many crazy people in the US, and like yourself, and and yeah, I mean, it's just so much has happened. And then I speak to my friends in the UK, and they just haven't changed at all because life moves quite slowly where I'm from. So yeah.
So you got to invite them over. Say, hey,
I know.
come on over. Check it out.
I've asked them many times.
Have you seen the movie Love Actually?
I've heard of it.
No, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, okay, waste no more time. Go home tonight.
Yeah.
Download it and watch it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, there's in Seattle, isn't it? Oh,
no. No. The English kid in the movie ends up going to Wisconsin.
Oh, right.
And he picks up these ladies while he's there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. I wondered, I mean, not that we want to go there, but just great experience for him. Hopefully you're having a similar kind of experience.
Yes,
that'd be great. So you came about a year ago. Obviously your parents were supportive. So get out of here.
My dad was a little bit not, because he was like, why? I mean, he just was so confused of how my mom was able to do this. And so my interesting story, my step-grandmother used to own a manor of a little village nearby my village, and it was the manor of Brightwell. It's a little village. And former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, all his life, has wanted this manor, basically.
Wanted to buy it?
Yes, yeah. And he basically said, oh, I'll have that. So my step-grandmother moved out. I don't think she's dead yet. I don't know yet. Maybe, but...
Shout out to Grandma if you're out there. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not very close to her. So,
sure.
Yeah, she's another part of the family, but I haven't spoken to her in a long time. But, so Boris Johnson bought that, and he paid a lot of money for it. So my mum is actually able to afford this adventure.
Thanks, Boris.
Yeah, thanks, Boris Johnson. And I've met him actually.
Have you really? What?
Yeah, I used to work in a little frozen food place in the UK, and obviously he lives quite close now.
Sure. Yeah,
since that, so I've met him, and he walks in and his deep voice echoes the room. It's very funny. Yeah.
Is his hair as great as it looks on camera?
Very wispy. Yeah, a little bit like a British Donald Trump. Actually.
Right.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Wow, that's great. Well, so you got on board with this whole studying in America thing.
Yeah.
You applied and got accepted fairly quickly, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have to get a visa. So what was your visa process? You know, I hear from African students and Latin American students that have such a hard time.
Are they different each time?
Everybody's
situation?
got a different experience,
Yeah.
really. Yeah. What was yours like?
Well, I think it was pretty easy. I
Yeah.
mean, all it was is applying for this document online on the US government thing, and then we go into, and then we wait to hear back from them. Then we go into the US embassy in London, which is a nice
Oh,
little
you had
day
to travel
trip.
to London.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're interviewed by an American guy.
Yeah.
And me and my mum were there, so it was nice, and it was actually pretty easy. It just took a while to get all the forms back, and all the visas and stuff.
All right. So you got it on the first try.
Yeah.
Did he ask you many questions? Were you there for a long time? Did it take?
No, not many questions. I mean, I think it was just wanted to see my character, as if I'm not, insane or something.
Right, exactly.
I think that's maybe why they do it, but I don't know. But
do you remember what specifically they asked you?
no, not particularly. Just I mean, why I'm going there, why I'm going to Seattle, and I mean, such a random thing to do. So
Sure.
fair enough.
Yeah, it's a big country, so you narrow it down to Seattle. I mean, how would that
Yes,
happen?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you knew about Seattle. Had you done research about Seattle before you came over?
So I was. I mean, this is another part to the story. I was walking to college, and I heard the song "Hello Seattle" in a car driving past by Owl City. I don't know if you know that song.
I know the group, but I don't know that I've heard that song.
Yeah, it's the guy who made Fireflies.
Yeah. Great song.
Well, I just sort of did my research after that, and I was like, oh, Seattle seems quite cool. And then the conversation led to my mom. So it was just a pretty random moment. But I haven't actually heard much of Seattle before that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a...
Did you know where it was? I mean,
I knew where it was.
Okay,
I knew it was rainy.
Sure.
And I knew it was kind of far away from everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it on a map, like, Seattle's all the way up there. So.
Yeah, it's way away from Chicago, New York, all the big cities.
Yeah.
It is West Coast, though, so it's close. You knew LA, San Francisco, those kind of cities. You just mentioned that you heard it was rainy. Have you found that to be the case?
It's not very strong rain. It's very light drizzle rain all of the time.
Were you here? You were here during the summer, though, right?
Yeah. So, which made the trees grow taller and the grass greener, so the summer was beautiful.
Summer was amazing, right?
Yeah, it was great. It was really nice.
But it has been rainy the last few weeks.
Yeah, but compared to somewhere like Oxford, I mean, Oxford's worse weather, like in terms of rain. Yeah, in terms of rain, absolutely. It's just, and windy and horrible. But I think people only compare Seattle to somewhere like Phoenix or LA, where it's really hot.
Sure.
It's like, of course, it's the rainy city comparing it to other American places. Right. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Portland, Oregon. I think the northwest part of the United States has a rainy reputation anyway. Yeah. Unless you go to the east side, which is pretty dry. It's high desert.
Yeah.
But it's not bad, guys. Check it out. Come to Seattle. It's really great.
It's really beautiful.
So you must have had some preconceived idea of what you would experience when you got here. I mean, a lot of people watch American films and TV shows. I mean, has it been what you thought it was going to be, or has it been way different?
So, I mean, so many stereotypes have lived up to what the stereotype is. I mean, I didn't know what a frat house was.
Oh, sure.
And I met some friends from UW. So I've been to an American frat party.
Sure.
And it's like, it's full of like frat dudes who are all a little bit strange, if I'm honest. But
for sure.
Yeah. And
maybe you could explain to the listeners, what is a frat?
So a frat is at college. Seattle Central College doesn't have any frats or sororities, which is the girls' version. Mm-hmm. But frats, basically, a bunch of dudes pay to live in a house together. And I thought it was just some weird thing.
Big house.
A really big house. And they're all quite rich people. Uh-huh. And I don't know, I think they're just paying for friends.
Kind of.
Which is a little bit
Well, they would argue that it's a good networking opportunity.
Of course, absolutely,
you
yeah.
know,
Well,
and I suppose it is.
Maybe I just don't get it.
But they do a lot of strange things. They have usually initiation.
Initiation, yeah,
they call it
hazing.
Yeah, hazing. But they also call it rush.
Rush week.
At the beginning of the season, they'll get everybody together. It's called the Greek system. For those of you who don't know it, the Greek system exists on most major U.S. universities. Smaller schools generally don't have Greek system, but some do. But community colleges, I don't think I've never heard of any community colleges having it. Wow. I actually belong to a mock fraternity.
Oh, really?
We're not big fraternity fans. No offense to anybody that out there that's in a fraternity. One of my best friends was in a sorority, so I don't speak ill of them, but I just wasn't for me. So we had a mock fraternity called Akagaga Snorta, and Bill the Cat. I don't know if you know Bill the Cat. It's probably before your time. Bill the Cat was our mascot. We would all have to bow down to Bill and then drink ridiculous quantities of beer. So it was really great.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. So have you been to the frat parties? How were they?
It was kind of crazy. I mean, crazy. I was explaining how to this American frat dude how football in this country is American football, and they call football in my country in Europe soccer. Yeah. So I was explaining to him how no, actually in a different place, soccer is football. So and he just couldn't understand it.
What?
And I mean, he got a little bit angry that this was a new concept to him, and I sort of got annoyed myself when I said this British phrase. I mean, I said, bruv. And I was visibly annoyed. And he said, oh, dude, you said bruv, that's so funny. Oh, you're actually British. And it just annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah.
But he really lived up to the stereotype of being an American rap dude. So, yeah.
You know, it really surprises me after, Ted Lasso has been one of the biggest shows that kind of talks about the difference between football and soccer. And, I mean, how do you not know?
Yeah, exactly.
This guy must have been really drunk.
Yeah, probably.
Or pissed, as you guys say.
Yeah, we say that.
So are you a big football fan?
Not particularly.
No, I mean European football.
Not particularly, no.
Not particularly.
Well, when I went back to the UK this summer for a little bit on holiday, I finally went to a British pub. I mean, I've been before, but I've actually tried to experience it because I know it is unique to that country.
Sure.
So I went there, and watched the Spain versus England final. With everyone. It's heartbreaking, but
sure.
I have some videos, of everyone in the pub with their Guinnesses and is it amazing?
It's a great experience. Yeah.
It's really fun, and it's like that's where I'm from. It's pretty cool,
right? Yeah. Well, and next year not next year, 2026, we're hosting some of the World Cup games. So maybe you get.
Really? Wow.
Are you going to be around 2026? What's your plan after you?
So I'm going to be here for another year.
Okay.
And if I can afford it, because I don't have any money after this, I'll get if I can afford or get a full scholarship to somewhere like ASU or another US university, which would be a dream.
Right.
I'll go there, but that's only if I get a full scholarship, so I have to work really hard for that. Or I go back to the UK and go to university there, which would be really fun, actually, because I haven't.
It would be cool, yeah. But we'd love to see you stay. That would be great. Have you applied for scholarships here at Seattle colleges?
Yes, a couple. Yeah, I think so, but I haven't heard back. Maybe yet or not at all.
So in the winter, the foundation scholarship becomes available.
Yeah.
Did you applied for that?
No,
you didn't.
No, I didn't hear about it then, but I heard about it after. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So be sure, because it's coming up again, and you can apply every time. Yeah. So definitely apply, because if you get it, it can be, between $3,500 and $4,500 on average, which would help you stretch your money quite a bit.
Absolutely.
And then there's some other organizations, like there's it's not a fraternity, but there's I can't remember, Phi Theta Kappa or whatever. It's
yes. My friend, is in that, yes.
Yeah, and I think you can get a scholarship if you're a member.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to dress up like a buffalo or anything weird like that. So, but that's free money. Yeah. And then, are you working on campus?
I applied for a couple of jobs, maybe at South Seattle, I remember doing that. But no. I mean, every other international student wants a job. So it's very difficult to get a job.
Well, the good news is you can apply at North, you can apply at South, you can apply at the district office as well. So ask around, and then just stay plugged into the student community because they seem to know where the jobs are.
Yeah, I really want to be a RA.
Oh yeah. No kidding, right? That would be great.
I'm living with my family friends, the host family. But it would be fun to have an experience being in RA, and it's basically free rent, and I have to do a bit of work. So I mean, that would be quite fun.
Have you talked to Olivia?
Olivia.
She's the housing coordinator.
I emailed her. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
She'll email me, I think, when a space opens up.
Right on.
But that's yet to happen. But
okay. Well, hopefully it will. It is a great job.
Yes.
There are other great jobs too, like an IA position or front desk positions. Those are really great. Yeah. And, we're always having turnover because people are transferring out. So just keep at it.
Yeah.
If I hear anything, I'll certainly let you know.
Yep.
Let marketing people know that you're looking because we hear sometimes. I'm like, oh, who did I talk to that needed a job? So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. The gym seems to be quite popular.
Gym's really fun. Yeah, I go to every now and then.
No, but I mean for a job.
For a job? Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be fun to work in there. I know some people who work there. And I see a lot of new people in there all the time. So, I mean, I'm sure jobs are
they
readily available. But,
I don't know how many hours they are. I mean, you can work up to 20 hours. I don't think anyone does. I think it's more like 10 to 15 hours on average people are working. But like Telvin down at the information center, he's from Kenya. Like I think he has 3 different jobs now.
Really? Wow.
So yeah, look around.
Fair enough.
And are you a writer at all?
How do you mean?
Like journalism kind of articles? Can you put together interesting stories?
I love English 102. Class I'm taking this quarter. I really do enjoy it, actually.
Well, because the Seattle Collegian, which is our paper, they'll pay for articles, so you could talk to them.
I have a couple friends there. They're really good articles, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
But keep your GPA up, and a lot of schools, when you transfer, will offer transfer scholarships.
Okay.
So the higher your GPA, the more money you can generally get. So I know that we had, 7 to 12 students transfer from here when they graduated to Seattle Pacific University, and they all got some pretty generous transfer scholarships. So.
Were they international students?
Yep, all of them. In fact, I think they were 7 of them at least were from Africa.
Oh, okay.
They were students that I had either interacted with because that's my territory when I recruit. So, but there's a bunch. So there you go. Make those dollars stretch.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All yet to come. But.
So you started in geology?
Geology, yeah.
And you decided that wasn't for you?
No, it was a little bit... It was, not really my thing.
Okay.
I mean, obviously I've changed as a person myself.
Right.
Throughout this entire year. And geology, I really like the subject. I find it really interesting, actually. But it as a job, the job that I would have, wouldn't be very, quite hard to get into. And a lot of geology jobs are oil related. So then that was boring, and it's like, okay, I actually don't want to do this. And then I moved on to psychology because I didn't know what else to do, and I thought I might try it out.
Sure.
So that lasted for 1 quarter, and then
that's okay. You got to try them out.
And then I went to California after going to Phoenix on a little road trip, and then I went to California to see my mum's old friend who has this horse ranch there. It was really cool. And we just had a really nice conversation in these California mountains. It was really beautiful. And then we were just talking about, degrees and everything. And he opened my eyes up to the idea of political science. And it's like, oh yeah, actually, the things that I would want to do in my life and how I enjoy life relates to that actually a lot. So,
that's great.
Yeah.
So you have a car then?
No, I went with a friend.
Oh, you went with friends. So you did this road trip. And,
yes.
Well, that's the big American dream, right? The American road trip is cool. Yeah. So you went to California, then you went to Phoenix.
Phoenix first. Met a bunch of people there, crazy people, and then took a bus from Phoenix to California. And my friend who used to go to primary school with me in the UK lives in Tucson.
Oh, I wish I'd known you were going to Tucson because my two of my older sons live in Tucson and they own a business there that you should have gone to if you didn't. They own a business called The Breaking Point. Did you happen to go there?
I haven't. Okay. No. I was only in Tucson for a couple of days, but reunited with my old best friend. That's so cool. 7 years. It was amazing, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. What you guys just sit around and visit, or did you go do stuff?
He's got a car. So we went up to Mount Lemon.
Yeah. Mount Lemon's awesome.
Yeah, it was an amazing time. And then we said goodbye. I went up to Phoenix again, and then took a bus to California, and then a little plane back to Seattle.
Yeah. So when you went to California, you went to L.A. and then got picked up?
Palm Springs.
Oh, okay.
Because his ranch is in Palm Springs.
Yeah. What does he ranch in Palm Springs? It's kind of the desert.
Yeah, no, and it's in the mountains, so it was interesting. But yeah, if you hear me pronouncing ranch as ranch, I mean, whenever I order coffee, I have to say my name's Archie in a very strong accent, because whenever I say Archie, they spell my name wrong. It's like AOCH. It's like, what? Have you not heard? So I've kind of gotten used to putting on a very strong accent. Yeah. So if you noticed that, then
I noticed for sure, and I'm sure my listeners noticed. Yeah, no, that's great. You have to do what you got to do. People aren't used to that, especially here on the West Coast. I don't think we get quite as many tourists from the UK as, say, the East Coast does. No. If you're in New York, maybe it wouldn't be a big deal. But, do you find that we have a unique accent in the Northwest?
Not really.
Compared to what you heard in, say, California?
Actually, on the plane back from California to Seattle, everyone was so, like, positive, California accent. Like, oh, no way, oh my God. It really was. You could notice it being an outsider. So. Sure. And then I got back to Seattle and everyone was boring. No, I mean, that's the stereotype. But people are very chilled out on the West Coast, which I like.
Yeah. Have you spent any time on the East Coast?
No.
Not at all?
No.
The pace of life out there, in my opinion, don't beat me up on the comments, but the pace of life out there is a lot faster, a little more intense, let's do business kinds of stuff. But out here, it's like, dude, let's go surfing. So cool. Well, the Northwest is really known for its outdoors activity. Have you had a chance to take advantage of any of that?
Absolutely.
What have you done?
I've been on many hikes. I went to Mount Rainier a couple of weeks ago. That was beautiful. And we went there to see the autumn colors, in the trees and stuff. And
snow?
A little bit of snow at the top, which was, But I've made a lot of friends through church, which I like to go to because instantly I have a bunch of really strong connections.
Right, get a community.
With great community almost instantly as I move away. And even they knew people that knew people from Oxford, which is
really
is weird.
Oh, nice.
So I went on a nice little hike with them, and then I'm going to a lodge in the mountains with the same people this weekend, which will be fun.
Do you know which lodge?
It's near Snoqualmie or Skyhomish or something. Somewhere like that. But
is it rustic? Is it going to be?
Yeah. It's like it's in Bering. Don't know if you know that, but it's a tiny little unincorporated community apparently. Sure. But that would be really fun.
Yeah, it'll be looking forward to it. Yeah, very different than what you're used to, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Have you? So winter? Did you try skiing or snowboarding? Did you get out?
No, I've never. I mean, have you? Do you go skiing or snowboarding much in this state?
Oh yeah.
Is it possible?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
45 minutes. You can even take a bus, I think, up to the pass.
Yeah.
And go skiing there, snowboarding. Last 2 years, International Programs has done a tubing event where you load up on a bus. I think you pay a small fee. They take a bunch of international students up there and you go tubing for the afternoon.
I think I was invited to that.
It's really fun. You should check it out this year. Because it's really cheap to do.
Yeah.
But I think, and then if you go north to the North Cascades National Park area, there's some really great skiing up there. And you can cross the border into Canada. And Whistler's really well known.
I have some friends in Vancouver, and the husband is from my village and the wife is from Vancouver, and they met in England. So I went to stay with them last spring for a couple of days, and then we went up to Whistler. But we didn't ski because it was we were busy and we didn't have much time. But
Okay.
I think next time maybe skiing.
It's really pretty up there.
Really, really big.
You now, because you're a UK resident or a passport holder,
Yeah.
you don't need a visa to go into Canada, right?
No.
I didn't think. Why do you say it that way?
No, well, I mean, I needed to sign my F1 visa document thing.
Your I-20.
I-20, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. No, when you travel to Canada, you have to have your I-20 signed.
I-20 signed
Yeah.
when you get it signed by someone at school, an official, it lasts 6 months when you can, it basically means you leave the country, which reminds me because I have to do it this Christmas when I go back.
Sure.
So, yeah. But I mean, I was allowed into Canada being a British citizen.
Subject.
Exactly. And then, but coming back, I had to have the thing signed because obviously it's going back into the US.
Sure.
Yeah. It's complicated,
But way easier than, like a lot of international students that are here, they have to actually get a visa on top of all that.
Yeah.
Which is much more. So you're Commonwealth, so that makes a lot of sense. But Canada's, I really love going up there.
Yeah.
It's for like anyone that hasn't traveled outside the country before, it's like international travel light. It's a good way to try to get started. They speak English. They use liters instead of gallons, so it freaks you out a little bit. You're like, wow, it's really expensive for gas. But
Well, I know you've been to Europe, and what was that like with an American, passport?
Oh, no problem.
No problem.
You
at
just
all.
walk
Yeah,
in, basically. It's really great.
Yeah.
I've been, I first went to Europe back in the day. I went in 1983 as an exchange student to Belgium, and I lived there for a year. And at that time, it wasn't the EU. So everywhere I would cross the border from, say, the Netherlands into Germany, and they'd come on and check your passport. You don't have to do that anymore. So it was a different thing.
Yeah.
And this will give you a little bit of an idea. There was no channel, obviously, when I was there. So we would take the hovercraft from Calais over to Dover.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I've never done that.
Oh, it's awesome. The day we went, they canceled all the ones behind us because it was stormy. But the hovercraft would go down to the bottom of one wave, and you'd look up and see the top of it.
Wow.
It was nuts.
It's crazy.
And I was fine. There were a lot of people that were sick. I didn't get sick until we took the bus ride. I got into London, got into my hotel room, and then I lost it. And then it was like, oh my God, I was so
You held it in. Good.
Held it in.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, cool. What's been the funnest thing you've done since you've been in the U.S.? I mean, you took this road trip. You've been up hiking.
Very good question.
Yeah.
Funnest thing I've done. I went to Florida with one of my very good friends. Yeah, that was great. He has a bunch of people or his family who lives there, so we went and stayed in their house, which is great. And that was really fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So, but Florida's crazy. All of our Uber drivers were like insane. The weather was crazy. I mean, we went into a Target, okay. It was bright, beautiful Florida sunny day, and I thought it was going to stay like that. We went in, bought some groceries, and about 5 minutes later, we walked outside. I mean, the heaviest rain I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And then it just stopped. I was like, oh, okay, great. It's like, oh, great.
That's the South. Yeah.
So
pretty crazy.
That's really fun, actually, experiencing that. And that felt more American than anything I've ever done on the West Coast. I don't know, maybe that's because it lives up to more stereotypes of how British people view America, like the movies and stuff.
Maybe.
But Florida was crazy.
Which part of Florida were you in?
I was in Tampa Bay.
Oh, you were in Tampa. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Wow. Well, you've traveled a lot then since you've been here. No wonder you don't have any money to go to school. You've been traveling so much.
Yeah, it's true.
You got to go to Hawaii then.
Oh, really? Well, actually, that's true. Still part of the U.S., isn't it? So
yes, it is. You don't need I-20 sign for that.
Good idea. I mean,
and if you watch the sales, sometimes you can find pretty cheap tickets.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was going to say that. Yeah, I mean, cheap tickets. Very lucky.
Seattle's a great place to be, actually, because you can go to Asia, actually, sometimes pretty cheap if you watch the sales. And you go to Alaska from here. Sometimes you can get really cheap tickets to go to Alaska, which I highly recommend since you're in this part of the world. But
well,
cool.
I saw a really cheap ticket to LA, 26-hour flight, but you go from Seattle to LA, which usually would be about 3 hours, but you go to Taiwan first.
Whatever.
And then go to LA. So I was like, trip to Taiwan. I won't get the plane to LA. And it's like, I could just do that.
How much was it?
It's about 800, which is still
ridiculous.
Still pretty good for
to go to LA.
To LA, but obviously you're going to Taiwan first. So.
Can you get off the plane in Taiwan and go see?
Yes, layover flight. So.
Yeah, I guess that's not bad.
Well, I don't know, maybe.
That's crazy. That's really weird. All right. Well, so you've had a lot of classes in a lot of different areas. You've taken some science with geology. You've taken social science with psychology.
Yeah.
What's been your experience with the classes themselves? Do you feel like the approach to education, like the way the classrooms are managed, or the education is delivered, is a lot different than what you experienced back home?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Well, this time in my life, when I'm 16 to 18, although I'm 19 now, you'd take in the UK you'd take A levels,
right,
and you choose 3 subjects, and you do those 3 subjects for 2 years and not change anything. Crazy. So you could pick. I picked. What did I pick? Chemistry, biology, and geography. Really difficult. I mean, it's like so insane. So I come here and I take 3 subjects for 1 quarter, and then the next quarter I'm doing a bunch of different subjects.
Whatever you want to do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's like perfect, because I'm now no longer bored of the other subjects, and it's like a new, bright, brand new area to.
And actually, you can take more than 3 if you want.
Absolutely, yeah. If
you
you're
can take,
very daring.
If you're daring, you can take 4 or 5 classes. But I don't recommend that because it's a lot.
Yeah.
So what's been the most interesting class you've taken?
Very good question. I think public speaking.
Oh.
That was really fun.
Right.
Yeah. That was really good. That was I don't know, Daichi, who was on here before.
Yeah.
He was in the class with me. That's how I met him.
Very cool.
Yes. So that was a really fun experience, actually. Writing speeches and meeting everyone. It was really good, interesting.
Do you have anything like that back home?
Not particularly. I think everyone's a little bit in their bubble where I'm from. I don't know if you've seen, Jeremy Clarkson. Or,
it's not ringing a bell.
No, well, Top Gear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's one of the guys there. He now owns a farm in the countryside, which is very close to where I live. And all the characters, other than Jeremy, who's been everywhere in his life, all the other characters are sort of like in their little bubble. They've lived in this village their whole life. And it's a reality show, and it's real people on this farm. It's working. It's really funny. But it's like Caleb, this guy, he's lived on this little farm his whole life, and he hasn't been anywhere else, even London. And there are people that are in my life in England that are exactly like that, and it's like, wow. I really want to, take them to the US. It'd be great fun. Show them what's what.
Show them around, or at least to go to London, man.
Yeah.
There are people like that in the United States too, honestly. I grew up in a very small town on the Oregon coast.
Oh, okay.
And, some of the people there had never even been out of the county. Like
really?
They hadn't been to the capital of the state or even to the biggest city of Portland. But, some people just don't seize the day and go and do other stuff. And maybe that's okay for them. I like to travel, so whatever.
Great.
Yeah. So we try to get into the part of the show where we ask a few questions. Oh, do you hear that? There it is. So we're going to ask you a few questions. These are trivia questions. If you get them all right, you get on the Wall of Fame. And if you get them wrong, you'll probably cry yourself to sleep tonight. So here you go. Yeah. Question number 1. Now, there are 3 national parks surrounding the city of Seattle. We've already kind of mentioned them. Can you remember one of them?
Mount Rainier National Park.
Yes. Very nice.
So I've been there.
Question number 2. Within 1,000 feet, how high is Mount Rainier?
14,000 feet.
Dang, that's really good. I thought I was going to get him on that one. That's really impressive. Yeah. Nice job.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. What is the highest mountain in North America?
Oh, is it in Alaska?
Yes.
What's the name? That's annoyed me. Okay. Well, I've forgotten the name.
I'll give you a hint. It starts with a D.
Oh.
Or an M, depending if you use the Aboriginal name or if you use the white man name.
Pass.
All right. Denali.
Denali, yeah, of course.
And
yeah.
it's a national
yeah,
park,
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Denali National Park. That's all right. No worries. That's a tough
remember.
one. All right. Question number 4. If you are an international student, how many credits do you have to take to maintain your visa?
12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job. And last question, what was the last movie you saw in the theater?
Inside Out 2.
Oh, really?
Correct.
How was it?
Yeah, it was great fun. It was because I watched the first one with my mum.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see the second one.
Yeah.
It was really a good film, actually.
Where'd you see it?
In Northgate.
Oh, yeah. I like Northgate.
Which is very close to North Seattle College.
Are you living in that area?
No, I live 10-minute walk away from here.
Oh, really? Walk. Wow.
Yeah,
So you're in Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, no, very easy.
And you said you're staying with family.
Host family, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Host family.
Host family, yeah.
So they're not related.
No. Family, friends.
Family, friends. Okay.
Yeah.
And they just said, stay here.
Yeah, well, they've had students before to stay.
Oh, they have.
And they've actually come here, so.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Do they have kids?
They have 3 kids, yeah. Well, the daughter is how my mum met these people, but they're all, like, grown up now.
Oh, they're all grown up.
Yeah. One lives in New York and one still lives in Seattle here.
And you've met them all?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Do you get your own room?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
I live in the attic.
Oh, right on. So they just hit there
pretty
when
much.
you come down to breakfast, whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, great job on the trivia questions.
Thank you.
The last question we always ask our guests is, now that you've been around 10 months, almost a year, you are wise and learned. So you can share your sagesse with the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. What would you say to students back home in the region? Could be, some Scottish kid or maybe a Belgian kid that's thinking about coming to the United States to be a student. What would be your advice to them?
I think go ahead and do it. I think the UK has a lot to offer, but it's very limited compared to what the rest of the world actually can offer you in terms of being an experience and building your character and becoming a better person. And if you have an opportunity like I've had, you should absolutely take it because it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
I agree. Just do it, guys, if you're thinking about it. I did, when I'm out on the road recruiting, a lot of kids I talk to, they're actually trying to decide whether to go to the UK to go to school or go to the United States. Yeah. And I'm like, just come to the U.S.
I know.
I mean, I think I've told you, but I worked for Staffordshire University in Oxford Brookes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I worked for Stirling. And so I'm familiar with at least the university system in the UK. And I got to say, personally, having seen both worlds, I prefer the U.S.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be as impartial as possible, but I really do prefer it. Like, everything came down to the tests or the big project or whatever. Here, if you're doing your assignments, even if you just show up to class, you get credit for that. So, like, even if you bomb all your tests, if you've been coming to class regularly and you do well on your assignments, you can still pass. I mean, I kind of like that.
Very accessible.
Yeah. And I do like the variety that you're talking about, which is pretty cool. Wow, cool. And then last thing, I usually have our students speak in their first language. So we're going to ask you to say like 20 seconds worth of your native language.
Hola, no. So
maybe use the Queen's English.
What should I say? Good afternoon, everybody. It's currently 1:44 in Seattle PM. And it's a very beautiful day with rain.
Is it raining?
It's raining right now, yeah. Pretty sure.
Man.
But anyway, I'm going to go and drink my tea now.
Oh, yes, of course.
With my milk and my, what else? Crumpets.
Spot of tea?
Spot of tea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Well, that's great. Everybody probably would have understood that. Maybe a few people got lost.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I'm so glad you're here. It's been really great to get to know you. And thanks for coming on the show, sharing all your interesting insights.
Good stuff.
Yeah. You guys, don't forget to subscribe, tune in every Wednesday for other interviews.
Do that.
And happy Halloween. You'll probably get this after the holiday, but maybe before Christmas. So happy Christmas. You guys say Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Do you guys say Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas, yeah.
I thought you guys said Happy Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy Halloween and Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas, yeah. All right, take care. Thanks. Bye-bye. Conversations With is painstakingly crafted for you by the Seattle College's International Programs Department and supported by the lovely folks here on our campus. This show is produced and edited by me, Evan Franulovich. We welcome your emails and questions about coming to Seattle Colleges. Please reach out to us via our website or just give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, as this helps others discover the show. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube at Seattle Colleges INTL. That's Seattle Colleges INTL. And be sure to check out all of the shows here on Conversations With. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.